Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 6. We will explain about organizing instruction. My name is Veny Setiawati and my partner are Rimbi Arini and Yardila. Alright, the first material will be explained by Rimbi Arini.
Okay, thank you, moderator. I will explain about capture of reward. This capture is design structure is something that involves organizing instructional activities to create satisfactory and effective learning. And this is especially important if the content cover is very large. The example is training for a year, several years of study for a degree, and the entire K-12 curriculum. The activities of one lesson should fit appropriately into the educational scheme. The scheme is an activity of a person in giving better instruction. Content organization will look into the extent of the content discussed, while organizing instructional activities looking for at the various methods used to communicate the content to students. And the content to be discussed is called the curriculum. The curriculum is explained by its scope and sequence, instructional event and learning experience, and the method of event and experience delivery. Okay, the next is scope and sequence. Instruction can be designed to combine many activities over a long period of time. For example, is a course of study relating to a bachelor degree, when activities in a short period of time for it. Example is instruction behind an instant soup packet. And the scope and order of activities is determined the instructional designer based on the goals and objective. This has developed the need, tasks, and analysis of the learning. According to Ulrich, 2013, sequences instruction serves to important purpose, either to isolate a piece of knowledge, its concept, or principle to help students understand its unique characteristic, or to connect the concept of or principle with a large body of organized knowledge. And the next is organizational levels. Organizational level has 4 levels. The first is macro, and the second is micro, and the third is vertical, and the fourth is horizontal. Macro and micro level are relative terms when used with respect to instructional organizations. The most specific micro level refers to the relationship between concepts, facts, or skill in the lesson. And the last is organizational structure. Posner in 2003 stated that are only two basic methods for regulating the curriculum structure. They can use content and media structure. I think that's all for me. Thank you. Back to the moderator.
Okay, I will explain about the events of instructions. According to Smith and Regan 2005, the most elemental series of instructional events consists of an introduction, a body means a variety of activities related to the content, a conclusion, and an assessment. As an example, consider a typical K-12 teacher's lesson plan. You can see on the figure 7.1, the activities and evaluation sections have been labeled by using the 4 elemental events of instructions. The eminent instructional designer and scholar Robert Gaines, 1916 until 2002, theorized that there are 9 events of instruction. First, gain the learner's attention. Second, inform learners of the objective. Third, stimulate recall of prior learning. Fourth, present the stimulus. Fifth, provide guidance for the learners. 6, elicit learner performance. 7, provide feedback. 8, assess learner performance. 9, enhance retention and transfer, varied practice and reviews. To put this theory into practice, Each of the events described requires at least one instructional activity. According to Smith and Regan 2005, observed that each instructional event can be viewed as having two aspects. The first, the supplantive, and the second, the generative. The supplantive, those supplied by the interaction itself, and the generative, those then generated by the student. For example, during an interrogation event, the instructor may present activities intended to gain the learner's attention, but the learner must activate his or her attention in order to participate effectively. During the body of lesson, the instructor may present the activities, but the learner must actively participate by doing such things as focusing his or her attention, employing learning strategies, and offering and responding to feedback. Next is about the continuum of learning experiences. Continuum is the experiences in which the learner is exposed to skills, concepts, and attitudes through completely contrived or abstract activity. An example of an extreme expression of this would be learning to swim by having someone describe it without actually getting near water. The psychologist Jerome Brenner describes learning activities as being one of three types. The first adaptive, the second iconic, and the last symbolic. Adaptive experiences are those at the base of their cons. Iconic experiences are those that are placed within the middle of this cone. The iconic experience depends upon visual or other sensory organization and upon the use of summarizing images. And the last symbolic experiences are those that are placed at the top of their cone. A symbolic experience is one in which the entire communication is conducted by using sounds and signs that have no direct association with the actual event. For example, languages are symbolic communication systems. The words we speak or read may arbitrarily represent concepts and real things, but they do so by completely artificial means. Next, method of delivery. The first, classroom teaching. The setup of a traditional classroom is a number of desks and chairs for students generally organized to face a chalkboard, whiteboard, or projection screen. A teacher directs the instructional activities, offering and receiving feedback from students as the lesson progresses. Second, program interaction. Program interaction is the arrangement of content material that allows a student working independently to form responses and receive feedback on those responses, receiving positive reinforcement for correct responses. The feedback and reinforcement come from the interactional media, not from a live interactor or facilitator. And last, distance education. Distance education may be synchronous, everyone involved participating within a specified time period using video conferencing or online chat, or asynchronous means everyone involved participating at a time of his or her own choosing, sharing messages using an online discussion board, postal letters, or email messages. Alright, the last material is about two categories of instructional delivery. First, providing immediate feedback to both students and the instructors. In instructional settings such as a traditional classroom or distant education, the students and instructor communicate with each other in a way that allows them to adjust their activities according to feedback received. For example, the teacher in a traditional classroom may notice his or her students are looking drowsy and decide it is time for a short break. And the second, providing immediate feedback to the student alone. Education conducted through program interaction does not have an instructor making adjustment to the experience based on learner feedback. The instruction may be programmed to respond to a student's responses, but all possible responses all determined in advance of the student participation. So I think that's all my material. The next material will be explained by Yardila.
Okay, my name is Yardila. I will continue to explain the last material. It's about hidden curriculum. Hidden curriculum can be defined as the lessons that are taught informally and usually unintentionally in a school system. This includes behaviors, perspective, and attitudes that students pick up while they are at school. So this hidden curriculum is a side effect of an education. It is a lesson which are learned but not openly attended, so such as the transmissions of norms, values, and beliefs conveyed in the classroom and the social environment. And a learning experience may teach unintended lessons. For example, raising hand to speak, not speaking while others speak, and being respectful to others, and how to work with others, and also being on time to class. Next, instructional activities in non-educational situations. Instructional activities can be used to improve performance without specifically striving to teach people new information, skills, or attitudes. So, instructional activities also can be used to improve performance. This performance can be taught without give the specific lessons. If analysis of a human performance problem indicates the need for an instructional activity, the goal of that activity is to provide support that fills the performance gap. One type of activity that support performance is commonly referred to as a job aid. Okay, next, job aids. Job aids are devices that relieve an individual of that need to memorize a set of steps or procedures, often presented in paper or electronic format. Job aids do not teach; instead, they support performance. So, job aids are like tools, device, or instructions on how to do a work or related task. So the task itself is understood by the individual, but the steps involved in completing the task may be difficult to remember. Example of job aids can be found in public transportation settings, where ticketing machines provide instruction for their use, and in most business office where the steps involved in using the copy or fax machines are posted. Next, using organization to improve instruction. Understanding the organization, scopes and sequence, instructional events, types of learning experience, and methods of delivery gives one greater understanding of how to organize instructional activities that present them in the most effective way for a particular group of students. So, understanding the organization of instruction helps an instructional designer to choosing activities that support remediation and extension. Choosing activities that support the needs of a variety of learning styles, selecting activities most appropriate to each instructional event, and making available job aids that support the students. And also choosing activities that are best suited to the delivery method. The goal of every instructional designer is to create effective, efficient, and satisfying learning experiences for every student. Understanding the organization of instruction and making considerate use of a variety of instructional activities can help instructional designers meet this goal. Okay, the last is organizing instruction and the instructional design process. Organizing content and activities is an important part of the instructional design process. No matter which approach we take, organizing instruction should help us in answer the questions like how much content will the instruction have. Second, when will different parts of the content be introduced within the instructional design? Third, what kind of inactive, iconic, and symbolic activities will be presented to the learners? Fourth, what kinds of support activities will be offered for students who need extra helps? And the last, what kinds of activities will be offered for students who seek a greater challenge? Okay, that's all for me. Back to the moderator.